Good evening. Welcome to another episode 10 of Watch Soup Sunday nights, every Sunday night. So far, we've been pretty good, right? We've missed one Sunday, right, for Easter, but
Easter Sunday, I think
Easter
that's
Sunday,
allowable. So yeah,
that's it.
we've been pretty reliable here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so pretty reliable for sure. And hey, I'm Bobby Legs. I am your co-host this evening. I'm joined by my friends Clayton from the Watch Out Podcast and Sanjay from the Engineer Wannabe channel. Sanjay, we'll start off with you this evening. How are you, man?
Good. It's a good day today.
Yeah.
Yeah, went to church, found
Yeah.
some games from my childhood. Uh, uh,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Tetris.
yes.
Yeah.
found
Is
an
that
old,
Game Boy for Game Boy?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found like an old Bomberman 2 for the Game Boy. Old
Oh,
school.
wow.
So I was pretty
Nice.
excited, but yeah. So
Yeah.
overall good day. Didn't do too much. Yeah, just hung out with family.
Excellent. Excellent. Can't ask for anything more. What do you got on wrist, my friend?
Oh, on my wrist is the SBGW 295.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you did do a review video on it,
I
and
did.
most of us know what happens to your watches after you do a review video on it. Now, I haven't caught up with last night's live stream. I'm sure you addressed it because I'm sure it was brought up by your fans.
It was.
So if you can just give us a little snapshot, like, is it staying? Is it going? Is it you open to
Yeah.
possibilities?
Well, you guys don't really believe me anyway, but I'd say it's staying.
Yeah.
But you know, the sheer volume of people saying it's going has me like second guessing myself even. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's staying.
See, I
Hey,
didn't
as
get
long,
the sense at
yeah.
all. My mind didn't even go there when I watched
Yeah.
that review. I just thought, he's reviewing it, and I think it's going to be a keeper for a while. It's going to last longer than may not last forever, the big K word, but it'll last for longer than your average watch, I think.
Yeah. And the Sea of Clouds is still with me, so I've broken the streak, right? I reviewed
Yeah.
the Sea of Clouds, and
Yeah.
I
Well,
still have it.
you've broken the streak until, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until you haven't broken a streak.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I'm happy for you. It's a great watch, and
But
I feel like it's like your signature watch now. But go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you guys think of the bracelet? I know some people were not fans of this.
I
Like
like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, goes well. I wish it
Yeah.
was fitted end links, but that's just a personal preference, completely subjective. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I would actually think fitted end links for this style of watch. I really like the straight bars, but
Yeah,
that's just
Yeah.
me.
more vintagey look.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. No, it looks great, man. Looks
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Keep it. Clayton, man, how are you, dude?
Doing well, doing well. I was telling you off air,
Yeah.
adopted a dog this weekend, so
Yeah.
kind of
Congrats.
came out of left field, but we're super happy. Her name is Mint Julep of all things. We had her is the Kentucky Derby. We're actually changing it to Juniper. Wife's decision. Juniper is just easier to say.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and Junie as a nickname is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's another beagle. We're in love. She's 2 years old. She's settling in very nicely. So, but yeah, just an exhausting weekend to have a younger dog on her first day, a little nervous with us. So yesterday I wanted to join Sanjay, and we all ended up kind of passing out.
Aw.
The dog included, thankfully. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you take her or him on enough walks,
Yes.
they'll cozy
Yeah.
up to you really quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
She snuggled me all night. She was
Aw.
she snuggled right in between us, and yeah, so she'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey, what do you got on wrist?
I'm doing the Moser
The
Endeavor
Moza.
Yeah.
concept center seconds again.
Yeah.
Not my wrist checks are not going to be very exciting anymore.
Nah,
It's
but I
always
mean,
gonna be the same old, same old.
I'm excited
so
when I see the
exciting.
watch though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
How about you, sir?
Yeah, I got the Citizen
Oh, yeah.
Master Dive. Fun watch. It's very, very well on the wrist. And sometimes it's nice to have just an affordable diver on wrist and that you can just not even worry about. So yeah, looking forward to doing a review on this one.
Does that have a
And
nickname?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question because
Yeah.
like it's on the site. It says Citizen ProMaster Dive.
Right.
You know, pretty
Yeah.
boring, right? You know what I mean? Like it's probably
Applied to
has like
any
a
one
good.
of their divers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
100 other watches.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought
So,
it wore really well on you. I saw your short, I think you did, or maybe
oh
your
yeah,
Instagram post. Yeah, I
It
thought
fits
it looked.
fits right well. I mean, like
Yeah.
you know, it's. I don't even know what the specs are on it, but it fits just fine, just fine. No problem at all. Hey, why don't we say hello to the chat before we start cooking the soup or serving the soup? Oh,
Yeah.
I still not
Soup's up, soup's
soup's up.
on.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. You know, I gotta do a I gotta get like a little sound bite and because I can play sound bites and that's a good one. Soup's on. Hey, Big Wrist is here. How you doing? He is early. Soup's on. James Duffy ahead of
Yes.
us. Yeah, there it is. Hey, Joy B. Hey now, how you doing? Hey, Steve Timehill is here. Oh, there he is. There's Chaz from the Berg. What's going on, Chaz? Good to see you. Time Hell, Steve saying, do you still have the sub, Rob? Yes, I do. I still have the sub. Pale Horse is here. How you doing, sir? Dib is saying, hey, I think he's talking about your bracelet there. Sanjay
Yeah.
ruins the watch in IMO, but you know, you do you, boo. Yeah. I love when Dib talks all like, you know, like hip hop gangster. You know, it's just like it's so awesome. Like when you hear him say it, it's great. Scott's here. I love the vintage beads of rice on a nice dress watch. Justin is strapped in, and Ken is checking in from Pittsburgh. Royal Regency is here. Hello, and evening, fellow supers. Okay, all right. So we're supers. Okay, I got
Yeah.
that. I like that. Moser is fire for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Some must be gone. Bobby is wearing the Citizens. No, it's still here. James, he's saying Jeff McMahon calls it the Retrozilla, I think.
Oh,
Okay. Hey, BB's here. What's up, fellas? Saw the
Is that
vid
the one he was
title.
going to give to his wife? Yeah, I think
I don't
he
know. I
had
missed
one
that.
and was going to give it to his wife, I think, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BB's catching up. Hey, Bobby is here. How you doing? Rob and Misty, what's going on? Wayman, what's up? Greetings all. Greetings to you, Wayman. All right, let's soups on. Okay. Hey, let's start off with Sanjay's pick. Teddy, Baldassarre, Rolex Waitlists are fun. MoonSwatch haters are E-list. I think this is like a kind of like a mashup. Like he got a lot of people, like a mail call, right?
like a hot take.
Hot take, yeah.
Yeah. So this was a fun video. I recommend you guys watch it. I'm not gonna rehash like all his opinions because you should watch it. His thoughts were really well articulated, I think, as Teddy's thoughts usually are. But I thought we could maybe play the game where we go through the hot takes. Maybe a choice few because there are 8 of them, and we'll probably burn through time. We
need it. We need to really don't worry about it.
You need to make an hour.
Yeah. So a couple of the first one was Rolex waitlists are fun. I don't know what you guys think of that. That's an interesting take. Bobby, thoughts?
So I think he had yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, so like I think when you own one, right, it's fine, right? You've already waited, you have it, right? And then when you're waiting for a few years to be called, it's not so much fun, right? So and I think it kind of lends into or to give the perception of exclusivity. I think that Teddy was kind of touching on about Rolex, that sense. And so I when I was waiting for my first Rolex, not fun. Now it is what it is. I've gone through it. I'm going through it now, waiting for some sort of GMT. So but I have my sub, so like it's not so bad. So I wouldn't call it fun, but once you've gone through it, it's like okay, it's business as usual.
Right.
What do you guys think?
So I've been on like 2 different lists, right? I've gone to my local AD and they say, "We'll consider you, but you have 0 chance," right? They might as well just tell you the truth and just say, "You're not getting a Rolex." But when I got I waited for the Air King for 75 days,
Mm,
and she guaranteed me that she was going to get me one, just not when, right?
yeah.
She said it might take a year, but, I felt pretty confident. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then when it came, it was actually not so fun when it came way shorter than expected. Like, because I had just bought the Sea of Clouds like 2 days before, of course, and I was like, "Oh no!" But I couldn't say no at that point. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know that they're fun. You do feel, as ridiculous as it is, you feel like you cracked the code or something when you get the call, right? You feel like I did it, because it does seem hard, especially with our local ADs. Like if I had never gone to the AD in New Jersey, I mean, it
Mm,
just wouldn't happen. I'd have to people that have spend history, that I know at this particular store, it just doesn't happen for them.
yeah.
So you're better off going gray and than dealing with my place here.
It's funny that
People have
you
bought, yeah.
It's funny that you said, like, 75 days, like you knew the amount of day. Like waiting for my sub was 7 weeks, right? So like we know to this
Yeah.
day, like
Right.
how long, like I don't think I could say that for any other watch. That I
Yeah.
gotta know exactly how many days or weeks it was that I waited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I've never been on a Rolex wait list, but I can understand this mindset, because I feel like it's like a trick of the psychology, because it feels like you did something. You know, when you get this watch, you went on the wait list, you played the games, right? And it feels like you accomplished something. So I can
Yeah.
feel like I can kind of understand that you get some sort of dopamine hit, not just from getting the watch itself, but also from fake accomplishing something,
Yeah.
like,
That's
because
how they get you. That's how
yeah,
they reel you in.
yeah, and then you might even get addicted to that. It might be a sort of hunt, right?
Mm,
That might be
Hmm.
the new hunt, and although you're not kind of hunting, you're kind of sucking up, so to speak. but
Right.
um, but yeah, I can totally get this, or understand where they're coming from, but I don't think it'll be fun. I've been on a few wait lists for Tudor, and I fall out of love with the watch, because I start to associate like the negative feelings toward that watch. Like the Pelagos 39 is all about dead to me, because I kind of associated the negative
mm,
thoughts of waiting for the watch into that watch, kind of. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so to me, that probably wouldn't work. But
And it puts
the
hold
other,
on your finances too, because you have to be
Mm,
ready
mhm.
yeah,
when they call, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, and I got that 34 mil Tudor Royale, and lo and behold, I get the call for the
Yeah.
Pelagos 39. But yeah, anyway, second one was MoonSwatch haters are elitists. Clayton has strong feelings about
I
that.
love the MoonSwatch. So yeah, I think people just need to give it a chance. But I understand why people tend to focus on that. They said they're going to sell them online and then they
Mm,
backed out of that. Like that seems to be a real sticking point with people, and I get it. But I don't know. I think it's fun and good for the industry as a whole, and Swatch Group. Um, so I have nothing but love for the MoonSwatch, but I get why people don't like it. Would I call them elitist? No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Rob?
yeah, I mean, like, I think I think I think it's fair, like Clayton pointed out, like people got upset about the way it was rolled out and released.
Mhm.
But get over it. Let's
Yeah.
just move on. You know what I mean? And you don't have to be a snob about it. And then
Yeah.
not even give the watch a chance. Look, I had a buddy who went to Manhattan the day that the first rollout was, about a year and a half ago, I think it was, or however long ago it was, a year ago.
Mhm.
And he saw the line and it was around the block, and he was like, "Screw that!" And then he went back to Jersey to the boutique that same day, right after, and bought a Moonwatch, an
Right.
Omega Moonwatch. So hey, look, I mean, it may have been a good thing for him. I think he probably, to this day, probably appreciates that, or thinks that he made a good decision there, because subsequently, about a week or two ago, he finally got a MoonSwatch, and he was like, "This is a piece of crap." He's like,
Mm.
he's like, I'm selling it. I'm getting rid of it. You know what I mean? And it's because I think, he's just it's not the same as the MoonSwatch, right? You know, and maybe that's where, look, I got in the Jupiter recently, and you know, it is what it is. It's Swatch. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
you know, it's a fun watch, and it came with the person who sent it had a Horus rubber strap on it, and it's great. It fits great, and it looks great. It looks cool, like, you know, and it's just an accessory, right? So get over it. Don't be such an elitist. Don't be so mad that you couldn't get one the day you wanted it, and let's move on, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there were some elitists, like especially in the YouTube space. I know Paul Thorpe was one of those
Oh yeah.
ones who said like it's turned Omega into a brand that
Oh,
he doesn't want to own anymore and stuff like that, right?
yeah,
Because he was saying, "Oh, I
please,
just bought 2 Planet Oceans or something, and now
please, yeah.
I don't want them anymore," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, I might be a bit off there, but yeah, I think there were elitists, but most people were pretty favorable, at least in our circles. I feel like a lot of people were kind of had their expectations managed. You
Yeah.
know, they weren't looking at this as a Speedmaster, but more of a Swatch. And yeah, I didn't see too many elitists. And I guess from social sphere to social sphere, things probably change. Maybe this guy's social sphere had a bunch of elitists saying Omega sucks now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the watch, right? Omega is a discount brand. Maybe like I don't know, like Kevin O'Leary never really said that, but I have a feeling he would have thought that at first, you know, because
It's your
later
boy.
in one of the Teddy Baldassarre videos, he said the MoonSwatch is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting words in people's mouths, so I'll be careful. Third one was chronograph movements are too expensive. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, you know, I like Teddy's take on this, right? I mean, like, what do you expect most brands to do, right? I mean, like, you know, there's Salida and ETA, right? I mean, like, you
Yep.
know, they're not going to spend, a lot of these brands are not going to spend the funds, the R&D to create their own chronograph, right? So they're going to take that. So like that put a little bit of perspective on it, because like I always thought to myself, you know, when I saw like maybe like a $10,000 chronograph, and it's based on a Salida or a Valjoux, and I'll be like, yeah, come on, man, 10 grand for a Valjoux. You know what I mean? I can't really think of it that way anymore,
Yep.
right? I mean, and this video kind of like, or this segment kind of helped me go that way. Now that's basically what I got out of it. Clayton, what'd you think?
Yeah, same. I've never really thought that. I'm not a big chronograph guy. It doesn't bother me how much they cost. It's not just my style of watch, but yeah, I mean, you can get into I mean, if you don't like it, go get a Mecha Quartz or get a quartz chronograph. You can get into those. You can get into some nice ones.
Seagull,
So, yeah,
right?
you can get the Lunar Pilot, which is you know, high accuracy quartz for. You can get the older one for what, $400 or $500. So yeah, just do that. But yeah, I've never had an issue. I always think they're pretty. Some of them, like there's some Bell and Ross chronographs that are approaching the 10K mark. Like I'd probably seek cheaper option, but you can get into a used Speedmaster for what, 5, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Less, yeah.
I've never personally thought this. Another great option is Longines. Like a lot of the Longines chronographs.
big eye.
Yeah. And they usually have modified Valjoux 7750. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, the Longines one usually have a column wheel on them as well, which is exclusive to Longines, as far as I know.
It's more the thickness that turns me off, not the price.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the deechness.
yeah.
So the fourth one was Lange is the pinnacle of watchmaking.
I don't know if it's the pinnacle. I mean, look, it's up there. You know, I mean, you know, there's other brands out there like, you know, like Paddock, you know, that I think could go toe to toe with Lange for sure, you know, and some other independent watchmakers who are just you know, incredible. And so I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that's just as subjective as a matter of opinion. It's what you like, right? So is it up there? I think so. Is it the pinnacle? That's just too hard to say. Like I can't personally sign off on that one, you know, because there's so many other great brands out there that have been doing complicated watches, well finished watches, and package them all together into one piece. So good try, but I'm not gonna sign off on that one.
Yeah.
When I think of that tier, it's definitely it's top of mind when I think of watches that are considered pinnacle or in that tier of watches. It's right up there. I couldn't say it is the pinnacle, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I actually strongly disagree. I've never had Longa, but it's kind of like when you get to what you think is the pinnacle, which I have not, but you kind of see how far high the mountain actually is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Clayton and I, we were talking about the Mass Mysterious from Cartier of all brands, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it might not be the most beautiful thing, but what's like a pinnacle of watchmaking, like decoration wise, or like engineering wise? Because the Mass Mysterious from Cartier, I don't know how you can beat that when it comes to engineering. I'm
Kodo,
sure
you want to say it, Kodo?
Oh, no, as much of a Grand Seiko fanboy as I am, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, so there's that, and
Yeah,
the
it's so broad,
GLC.
like you said, pinnacle of what exactly, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a shallow opinion, and no disrespect to the person who had that opinion. I mean, he was looking for spicy takes, so
Yeah.
So the fifth one was making 36mm watches is a mistake or a bad trend.
Well, it's funny that the person who wrote in was like, oh, since Rolex went back with the Explorer, went back to 36, all these brands are coming out with 30. That's BS. They've been doing that for a few years now. That watches have been going back to this 36 or smaller. So right off the bat, I could just tell that that this person may be just not as informed as well, maybe if he's just like your average watch enthusiast, maybe, or if he's a collector, he should know better that this has been the trend for a while. And I don't think it's necessarily a mistake. I think it's been well received actually recently. Like, people are happy that these watches are coming back down inside, because the trend has been going bigger for a decade and a half now. And while I do like a bigger watch, some people like smaller watches, and that's totally fine. It was like that way for like 70-80 years. People were wearing small watches, so I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. At the end of the day, these brands exist to sell watches and make money, right? So, if that's what people are into, if that's what people are buying, I mean, you have to adapt, and you have to keep up and sell watches. So no, I have no problem. And I like having like two options, like Hamilton with the Murph, right? That one was pretty big, and they released a smaller version, and everybody's happy. So, and Breitling is really good at that with the Super Ocean, multiple sizes. Everyone's happy if you like that watch, and you have a 44, you have maybe a 46, even 42, and smaller than that even. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, choice isn't a bad thing, right? And it's not like, at least to my knowledge, it's not like they're snubbing like the ones who like big watches, because in most cases, at least off the top of my head, it's almost always an option. Like you can think Rolex Explorer 36 was really hurting a lot of the Rolex owners, but now there's the 40, right? And the 36 is still there, right? I sure hope so. Do you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't discontinued. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, choice is a good thing. It might have been just that 1 year or 2 years where Rolex had just the 36. But yeah, I don't think everyone's like missing out, because there are now smaller watches to choose from. Even like with Seiko, you got the Alpinists that came out with a 36mm model, like the recreation, but then you had the 38mm regular production models, right? So there was always like this, at least in the Seiko world, there was always the choice of bigger versus smaller. So yeah,
and now they came out with the 38mm 5KX. The bigger one still exists. Like, why would you be mad that there's options for other people, but you can still get the size you want? I don't get that.
Yeah. So next was Citizen is the most underrated watch group in terms of innovation.
Yeah, they're doing some, I think, across the board with, Le Jeu Perret. He touched on in some of the movements that they're collaborating on with, and that they're putting in other brands. And yeah, Frederic Constant, low key's doing some cool things. And then they have Arnold and Son. They have
Mm.
all these great brands. Yeah, I agree. I think as a brand they are, and as a group also.
Yeah, certainly in North America, right? I mean,
Yeah,
because let's just use the Citizen as a brand in general. Most people know Citizen as this, right? But like
Mhm.
they don't know it as that they also develop really high
yeah,
end dressy pieces, right?
right.
That are very popular and well known in Asia and in Europe. Here we just have a different perception. For some reason, they choose to market a certain way, and as a result, you know, hearing somebody saying that or the opinion that it's an underrated group makes awfully a lot of sense to us, and certainly so. Yeah, they're doing great things with movements, with their brands. Freddie C may not be as popular here in the States, but in other parts of the world I'm sure it is, because they're still around and they're still selling watches. They got a pretty extensive catalog from kind of like a high end to a low end.
The
Arnold and Son is
monolithic too, which kind
yeah,
of groundbreaking. So
yeah, and you mentioned Arnold and Son and Eco Drive, a bunch of stuff.
they own Miota as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
so for sure, they're underrated, maybe the most underrated. I mean, I don't know how to quantify that, but I mean, certainly, I think from our aspect here in North America, it's a good argument.
Yeah, I, I I think I agree too as a
Mm.
group, because another set of watches would be the Accutron with the
Mhm. Yep.
mhm.
electrostatic movements.
Yep.
Um, it feels like a beta watch to me, but a watch that's not ready for the mass market yet. But you know, uh, it's still interesting technology. But yeah, so even Accutron with Bulova and all the others like the
I was
Freddy
waiting for you to
Content.
bring up Mark from Long Island Watch. You didn't do it. Darn it.
Yeah. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to go off on that movement, which is you know, it's a beta test.
Yeah.
But yeah, still very, very interesting tech. And yeah, I don't think any other group of
Mm.
watch manufacturers can come close to the innovation side of things. I mean, Frederick Constant alone with the monolithic oscillating escapement. Uh,
Yep.
Like was it Zenith who was trying to do um the monolithic oscillator? They didn't call it that, but there
Mm.
was something that just wouldn't work.
Right.
And yeah, so I think Frederick Constant alone can
Mm.
probably take that crown. But
Mm.
um, yeah, good opinion there. I think 7 is Grand Seiko is where you go when you graduate from Rolex.
Here's the
Oh,
Grand
yes.
Seiko, the Grand Seiko fanboys, man. This is the hill that they want to climb and put their flag on, right? I mean, like, come over and experience us when you're tired for waiting for your Rolex watches. Um, you know, I don't buy that for a second, man.
Mhm.
No.
I mean, great. They make great dials, right? Great finishing, um, movement technology with a spring drive and whatnot. But do you think like Rolex owners or Rolex as a brand is like looking over their shoulders and seeing Grand Seiko, you know, but right at their heels? Nah, nah, I don't buy it.
No, yeah, I think yeah, I don't even wanna I mean, basically, you said everything I was going to say. So, yeah, I think it's they're parallel, like, people are and yeah, if you I don't know, if you graduate from Rolex people are Rolex people. They're,
Mm.
mostly not going to go for Grand Seiko anyway for whatever reason. And I think, the fanboys, not Sanjay, you're a nice Grand Seiko
Yeah,
fanboy, but
yeah.
they can be a little intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
So,
they're gonna go anywhere, they're gonna go up. They're gonna go like
yeah,
VC,
Moser,
right?
like a Moser or
Or
something,
Moser,
right?
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. But have you guys heard of Spring Drive? Like, can I
I heard this
take a moment?
Accutron is the same thing.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I
oh,
heard.
whoa, hey.
Yes, Seiko LX line has spring drive.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I know. It's like the most impressive invention since sliced bread, you know? It's yeah, anyway. No, I disagree too. I disagree that
Yeah,
you graduate from Rolex to go to Grand Seiko.
Hmm.
I think they
yeah,
can coexist in
Mm.
yeah,
many watch enthusiast
Mm.
collections, right?
yeah.
Whether it's going with the spring drive models or with the high beat
Mm.
models,
They do what they
they're
do.
still
They do different things, but they do what they do very well. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to have both in your collection if you can. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're both awesome.
And
yeah.
I'm not knocking Grand Seiko at all. I just I just don't buy that argument.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weird argument.
yeah, it's really strange. Last one, NATO straps are ugly.
Look, I think there's certain watches where NATO straps just work, right? But when you try to force a NATO strap on like a I don't know, like a Longa one, right? I mean, like it's just not gonna
Yeah.
work, right? You know what I mean? But there's a lot of crappy NATO straps out there, and there's a lot of good quality NATO straps, obviously. But it just
Mhm.
depends on the watch. So
Yeah. I often think they look nice. They're just uncomfortable on me. That's
mm,
the thing. I
mm,
think they look rad actually,
mm,
but then when I wear them, they don't look and feel nearly as cool.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I I agree with the opinion for in most cases. When it's on someone's wrist, I
Yeah.
don't think it looks too good. But
Mm,
when it's laying on a desk, in a
mm,
nice You're Terrific video
mm,
with the NATO strap tucked
yeah.
under the watch,
yeah.
I think that looks really nice.
Mm,
But or even in Teddy Baldassarre's video where he was showing some pictures of watches on NATO straps, I think that looked very good. But once it's on someone's wrist, I don't quite like it. Yeah. So I agree with the NATO straps are ugly kind of thing. I'll still wear them though.
yeah. Hey Homer, how you doing? Good to see
Homer.
you. Dib is saying fun only for people, I guess, is on Rolex waiting list who get their allocations regularly and spend a s ton of money to get access. Jeffrey is saying that the fun of Rolex is getting robbed when you wear it out. That is certainly worth the wait, especially if you have never seen a 45 ACP up close. Justin, I don't have a wait list. All my favorite Rolexes are discontinued, so the gray is the price.
Yep.
James is saying I would not call it fun, but being on the Rolex list has helped me save money and buy other watches for sure. Let's get down over here. See what that's up. Wayben saying on the MoonSwatch launch night, I got on my bike and did a tour of all the swatch shops in New York, then went home and went to bed. I had a bit of fun with it. Oh, very cool. That's cool. When people walk by and you're wearing a Speedy and they say nice MoonSwatch, how would you feel? The move cheapens Omega as a brand. Okay, did
There we
not
go.
liking that. I think the young collector Bobby is saying it's a fun piece to enter the hobby. I wouldn't be a person buying this at my stage of collecting, but I feel like it may be like the new SKX or of the new generation. Hey, Romy, how you doing? Romy is saying, is it BJ? Sorry, BJ's. How you doing? Romy is saying, MoonSwatch, I'm going for an overpriced John Mayer pastel blue. Got to keep up with the bubbles. I can't wait till he watches this tomorrow morning. BB is saying Sanjay knows Grand Seiko is the pinnacle. Bobby saying Longa is near the pinnacle of main brand watches, finishing with Patek, but definitely at a level tier below some independents like Gromfelds and GFs of the world. I think very well put, Bobby. I agree.
I think he made a typo there. Like the F is very close to S, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of your wrists are
They're only one
ginormous.
letter apart.
Right, pretty much, right on the 36 is plenty big. They need actually a good 38 millimeter Speedmaster.
Oh, I'd be on that.
And just our crazy chronos. Rob saying we see the perspective of 310 million versus plus versus the rest of the billions. I guess
right.
it refers to the citizen argument. GS is a dead brand. Get off the ship while you can. The crappiest watch brand in the world. Dib loves Seiko, so I think he's just trolling us here. Spring drive is for people who has difficulty getting their willy up. Get Rolex. It'll save willy and soul at the same time. Wait, but as a Grand Seiko fanboy, there's nothing more tiresome or no sure sign of an inferior complex than better than Rolex. Dip saying NATO straps are for people who live in basements while having fantasies of fighting in the Vietnamese jungle. Okay.
Bringing it.
Yeah, bringing it. Okay. Let's move on to our next topic. And Clayton, you're up. Oisin Malley.
All right. Yeah. CPO, Rolex certified pre-owned, has hit our shores, hit the US. And he has some thoughts on it. And he brings out his alter ego, Lenny, for this. And he has a few reasons, a few things that he questions. So we're going to go through them. And to get into character here, the first one is
new is
cheaper. If you're new to Rolex, otherwise everybody knows they're more expensive pre-owned than new, right? Because you can't get them at the authorized dealer. So obviously they're going to go up on the secondary market. Like we were talking about, it's really hard sometimes to get in at the authorized dealer to buy them new in the first place. So it in many cases, it is cheaper to just buy them gray because you have to buy other watches to curry favor with the authorized dealer, or jewelry. I have a friend who's bought watches, engagement rings, and still can't even get, a date just. So like sometimes it's just hard. And I think it's just our local place too. But now Rolex has been, they've held pretty reasonable retail prices, I think, on some models, and they are now getting in on the secondary action. And as we'll find out, the prices are a little absurd. They're doing it through their authorized dealers. They don't own any of these authorized dealers, right? But they're dictating how everything goes in the pricing. So
number 2, higher than market.
So if you go on Tourneau and look at these, the prices are crazy, 20 to 30% over market. People, why would you buy these crazy overpriced Rolexes from the CPO program? Well, maybe a little more peace of mind that you're getting it from an authorized dealer. They've probably been to the Rolex service center. They're maybe a little more legit than buying from your gray market guy down the street or a website or something like that. So maybe that's the only reason I could see. But gosh, if some of the prices for Submariners are like a few $1,000s more on the CPO program than you could buy at the from a Bob's Watches or a Watch Box, or I have a local gray market dealer here who I actually bought my sub from, and it was much less than what they're offering. So
same price.
So this is a little puzzling to Oisín and Lenny and me. The model years are the same price. He brought the example of a GMT Master 2 from 2008 and from 2018, same price. Now, obviously the one from 08 has more years under its belt, probably been worn a lot more, possibly polished a time or two. So why on earth are they charging the same price for that one than they are one that's just a couple of years old that is not going to have the wear and tear? So that's another odd choice that Oisín and Lenny found. Why on earth would anybody buy an older model unless it was like a birth year or commemorating an anniversary or something like that? So I don't have to do the Lenny voice anymore. For add to bag, so it's really odd. You can buy them online.
Yeah,
you can just like go into Amazon and buy in whatever you buy on Amazon. You can just add to bag, add it to your cart, and that's it. And he said it's sort of an odd feeling to buy a Rolex that way. Now you can do that on gray market sites. So, but something with Rolex's kind of certified name on it, it's a little strange to see that. Kind of cheapens the whole experience a little bit, because buying a Rolex at an authorized dealer is, you and I have done it, Bobby. It is sort of fun. It's special. They treat you nice when you finally get the call. They'll offer you beverages and they kind of treat you like $1 million. So getting one from an authorized dealer by mail maybe kind of lessens the experience a little bit. Free shipping, like you're charging me so much extra for the CPO program. You better ship it for free. Right. So, and the 14-day return policy he thought was odd, right? Because you could like some YouTuber they want to see like a Milgauss or something. They buy it and then they get they do all they need to do, make their video, and then return it. Now, I bought an Oyster quartz from Bob's Watches last year, and they had a return policy on that as well, but they had like a seal on the bracelet that you could not size the bracelet with that on it, right? So I'm sure the CPO program has a way to get around this like abuse of the return policy, right? If I saw it and I wanted to return it, I just would have returned it and not broken that seal. So I'm sure there's a workaround for that somehow. And then the last point he had was the future of the gray market. When this gray market dealers, before they saw the prices and how ridiculously high they were, I think they were sweating a little bit, like, what does this mean? And now I think they're probably smiling, like, we can up our prices and still be lower than this CPO deal. And then maybe we can promise to, take care of them. You have any problems with the watch, just call us. So yeah, I don't know if you guys, it's puzzling, this CPO thing. I don't know how well it's going to work. But just wondering what your guys' thoughts are.
CJ?
Yeah, I kind of understand what Rolex is doing. Like it's more about, it seems like it's more about brand, upholding the brand prestige. And so I think if by charging more, they're able to say they value their watches more even than the market, right? Then the market dictates they think their watches are worth even more. At least I think so. But then the whole 08 to 2018, the prices are the same, meaning the like another nail in the head of Rolexes don't devalue kind of thing. They're reinforcing that thought, and I feel like the whole exercise is a way to strengthen the brand in some way. At the same time, I think it's a huge missed opportunity if Rolex is honest, like with the fact that they kept saying, we're at maximum capacity, we're trying to get as much watches out there as possible. I think they would have been more competitive in terms of providing these pre-owned watches, and I think that would have increased competition, especially because the Rolex themselves, they could have brought their prices down to earth in a sense, like at least to retail value, which is what they're charging, right? But instead of doing that, I think they went through the route of upholding the brand prestige kind of thing. So yeah, I saw a comment about, I think Waitman mentioned how Pete, Not So Obvious Watches, Pete, he had mentioned that this is about Joe Blow, or who comes out from off the street, wants a watch, can't buy the new one, here's a pre-owned one if you want it. So I thought that was a good take too. But yeah, Bobby, your thoughts?
Yeah, so we knew this was coming, right? We heard it. They made the announcement, and it's definitely an interesting rollout for sure. I think it just demonstrates, and I hear, we've been, sharing Pete's take on it, and I hear that, and I'm just thinking, like, how obnoxious Rolex is, in a sense that, they just know, right, that they can put anything up, whatever price, and it will sell, right? Like they just fully get it. They're on top of the hill right now, and they know it, right? I'm just curious, like, they're getting these watches, right? Are people trading him into like Tourneau, and does Tourneau tell Rolex, and then Rolex owns I'm not sure like how Rolex is sourcing these watches, and maybe they've explained that away somewhere, but I guess I missed that.
They have to be
Um,
what, 3 years old to qualify, right? I think that's it. I think they have to
yeah,
be
so
3.
does that mean like somebody like me goes into a boutique or an AD, and I have a Rolex, but I want to trade up, and I have a 3-year-old plus watch. Is that an option? Like
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I just don't know how they're sourcing these watches. And anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Didn't
Um,
didn't
yeah,
Oisín say they had like 1,000 available or something like that?
yeah,
Yeah.
some astronomical number, and they
Yeah.
probably have more, right?
Yeah.
That we don't know
Yeah.
of, right?
Well, I think
So
people trade. I think people do that at the authorized dealer, right? Like they want their the new Rolex and they'll trade
yeah,
in
but these are
something.
Rolex's watches that the dealers are, right, or
Well,
no?
they might be shipping them off to Rolex to get serviced, and then maybe they come back as and also the display only models. I think Oisin made a video about that too. That was a rumor that those are the ones that are going in, the ones that are just tried on at the store. And
Yeah. So
But they
maybe
haven't had those for 3 years. That's
I
been
know,
more
so maybe
recent
they're
than that.
hanging on to those until the 3-year. I think that's what he made a video about that. I think he said they were going to do that. I don't know where he
yeah.
heard that. He heard it from a source.
So I'm wondering then, like, if like something like Tourneau, who takes in a trade, sends it up to Rolex, and then Rolex is like setting the price because Tourneau, you got to make your money out of it, and then you got to kick. It's like the VIG, right?
Yeah.
So they got to pay up, and that's why we're seeing the price being where it is, compared to other gray market dealers. Yeah, I think it's a win for the gray market dealers, right? I mean, like you mentioned, they can charge up to or just right under what Rolex is,
Right.
setting the price at, and say, hey, listen, you can get it from us, and then we'll give you a warrant. Like Watchbox, we will give you a warranty for a couple of years. Watchbox is, I'd pay extra any day of the week to buy a watch from Watchbox because they're legit, right? And if they can come in just under, that CPO program, why not buy from Watchbox? I don't need necessarily that Rolex stamp of approval for some of these watches. Now, yeah, I mean, part of buying a Rolex is kind of like that experience, like you mentioned, and it would have been nice, like, if we could have that experience like that, and not an Amazon experience, or maybe it could be like an Amazon locker in Whole Foods, right? So you still kind of have some interaction.
Yeah.
It's not just delivered you to the mail, so some interaction at like Tourneau, whether it's like a little side kiosk, where they can just give you like a water, like a little water they give you,
Yeah.
for anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it special somehow.
Let's catch up with the chats here. Romy's saying Rolex gray dealers must be loving this CPO program. BJ, I'm curious to know if they're buying used Rolex at a high price. Justin saying to Royal Regency, absolutely lost a bit of soul when the ceramics came out.
I think there's an argument about the 08
2008,
versus the 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bracelets
Dealers,
are the main thing that are better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dealer sets the price. No, I think it's Rolex, right? Rolex is setting the price.
No, I think it's the deal. I thought he said in that video the dealers are, but I'm not positive. It might be different dealer to dealer.
Okay.
don't
You
know.
may buy it there to avoid buying a fake. I'm guessing Rolex is letting Tourneau Booker handle all inventory sales and after sale service in exchange for some CPO tags. Rolex totally legitimized the gray market. Before it was gray. Now it is white. Pre-owned dealers love it. Oisín should spend more time learning about watches than supporting a certain psychopath American actor. Okay, I'm a little lost on that one. Okay, all right, fair enough. So ready to move on to our last video, and that is Britt Pearce, 5 reasons why Omega is better than Rolex. And this one's close to my heart because obviously you guys know that I've been thinking about making some moves and trading a certain piece that is at the end of this title for a couple of pieces that is more towards the middle of this title. Anyway, so let's see what Britt thinks. Britt, self-proclaimed Rolex fangirl, but she has been looking at Omega because of, and here's some reasons. And number one, movement technology. She highlights the coaxial escapement and some of the great things that Omega has been done with movement technology. Number two, high horology pieces, that they actually have some really high horology pieces. And for her, that is very important. Number two, price point, right? The price point of some of the models in Omega, much lower than what you will see with Rolex. Omega having a huge catalog. There's really a watch for almost everyone there. Number four, availability, right? We were just talking about, Waitlists, right? Not too many waitlists when it comes to Omega. Maybe some of their special limited pieces like the Snoopy, there's kind of like, wait for it. And then number five, there is no hype. And so, you have fairly five, points that are agreeable. I mean, I think there's maybe several more that could be highlighted, but five is a nice round number. And yeah, I'm all in on Omega, guys. Guys, do you think Omega is better than Rolex?
Oh, I usually don't like these titles of videos, even like clickbaity, like this $1,000 micro brand is better before you buy Omega, before you buy Rolex. Check this out.
Yeah.
Here's our new dog. But yeah, she gave some valid. She backed it up, right? So it wasn't super clickbaity. She was able to back it up. I'm not necessarily. I don't know if I'm a Rolex or an Omega guy, really. There's only like a couple Rolex models I'm super interested in. All the Omegas I've ever owned are long gone. I don't know that I'll ever buy another one. I think they maybe, to take the cheap way out, I think they both have, there's obviously reasons why you would buy an Omega. Awesome watches, like she said. I was witnessing an argument on Facebook the other day whether the coaxial really is that all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Has it been proven to actually make a difference in long-term accuracy and service intervals? Like some people were arguing that maybe not.
Yeah.
I just I know it's more technically advanced than some of the basic Rolex movements, right? Just for that alone. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm rambling here to say that I don't know. If I was to buy something right now, it would be a Rolex before an Omega. But
yeah, I think that movement argument is a little bit tricky. Yeah, they've done some things, Omega, of course, but like, Rolex movements. I mean, like if accuracy, right, is one of the top things you look for. I mean, they're both heck of accurate pieces, right? Service intervals. Like I've known people who haven't serviced their Rolex at all 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like that argument, although it sounds like it's catchy and an important one, really at the end of the day is not that important to me. Sanjay, please, your thoughts.
Yeah. I'm an Omega person, right? I am heart and soul Omega, like right next to Grand Seiko. But I kind of disagree with what Britt is saying. Like, there are some things I agree with, and I can probably substitute some reasons. Like, say, I would add in that Omega has more variety and colors. Rolex, like if you're looking at the sub, unless if you're going precious metal, you can't even get a different color, right? It's just black.
Well, the Cermet, right? But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah. You're talking about one other color, right?
Yeah, and you can't get it anyway.
And you can't get it anyway.
So the like the movement thing, I get it. Coaxial is interesting and far more beautiful, like the decoration on the movement you can see. So there are these things that I would substitute in instead of what Britt was talking about. But then again, I would think Rolex makes a better watch. Like I would say, like a sub to Seamaster. I think the Rolex is worth $3,000 more, $3,000 Canadian at least.
Yeah.
At least list price, right? Availability, I completely agree with Britt, but um, the watch is just a better watch. It's slimmer. It's
I would agree.
more
More refined. You just
refined.
notice
Yes.
with the Seamasters and with the Speedmaster, just like sharp edges that you would never. And some people might say like the bracelets on some Rolex are a little rattly, little jingling on the newer ones. But I don't know. In my experience, I've owned 4 of each brand, and refinement goes to Rolex.
Yeah, yeah.
1000%.
And that's coming from someone who loves Omega, right?
Yeah.
I would think you kind of get what you pay for, and you might say, hey, you get more bang for your buck when you're buying an Omega, and that's true. But that's true with everything. Like to get that few extra percent of refinement, it costs exponentially more the closer you get to perfection, right? So with Rolex, it just is a more refined product. I think the Omega chronographs are atrociously thick, except say for the Speedmaster, like say like a Planet Ocean chronograph or a Seamaster chronograph or something. They're just unwearably thick, I think, and they're bigger and just a bit more bulky. But then you have other things, right? Like I mentioned with the colors, the decoration. So I think it's another instance of you can have both. If money isn't a matter here, then you really should enjoy that Omega Seamaster or Omega Speedmaster, along with a Rolex Submariner or a Rolex Daytona, if you're able to get it. Because the one thing I do wholeheartedly agree with is availability. But yeah.
I think Omega might tell a better story, right? I mean, like you have the Speedmaster, the MoonSwatch, right? A huge, significant historical event in the 20th century, man going to the moon. And I know it's like technically, was it the first to watch it? I mean, like, didn't somebody bring somebody else up? Anyway, it's got a history of going into space, right?
Yeah.
And the
Did they
rail
beat
master.
it? Did they beat it like a dead? Did they beat
They
a
do.
dead
They do
horse
beat
with
it like a dead horse.
I think I'm
But-
tired. I'm so tired of it.
yeah. No, they do beat it like a dead horse. Yeah, but I mean for sure. But there's a story behind it. You know what I mean? And people just love that story. You know, and so like even like I know like the original James Bond. I mean like he had at one point War Submariner, but like they own that Bond line now, right? They own James Bond now, Omega, right? So you got that going for them, and a bunch of other things. Like I know some Rolex pieces has some like historical ties, but the story behind Omega is much more interesting to me. And great point, Sanjay, about the variety of Omega in their catalog for sure. Rolex is a little bit boring. They're a little bit closer to center, while Omega, takes some chances, right, with some of their designs and whatnot. Let's catch up with the chat just a bit. Sanjay, if you have anything else, please feel free to jump in.
Do you think it's a problem that like everything's either a Speedmaster or a Seamaster? Like they don't, outside of those like 2 lines, like they do obviously, but nothing that really is in the like main consciousness of everybody. It just seems like it's either even the Aquaterra is a Seamaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that doesn't really bother me so much. I mean because there's just so much variety within those lines.
Yeah.
Like with the Speedmaster, there's a Speedmaster Racing. There's the MoonSwatch. You know what I mean? And there's other chronos, like Chronomaster. Like I mean, there's other stuff out there. So for me, it's not an issue. Sanjay,
You got the Globe Masters and the
yeah.
DeVilles. I know, like consciousness wise, yeah, you're right. It's just Speedmaster and Seamaster, but I think with Rolex, you kind of have that too, right? Like a GMT Master is just a glorified sub,
right? Same exact look, really, just different bezels.
Rob, his regret was not keeping the Planet Ocean. Romy saying, not sure why, but I wanted to make an ultra dive. Vanity maybe. Ultra deep. Oh yeah. Big time deep diving watch. Bragging rights. Yes. Vain as hell.
It's a nice watch.
Yeah. Scott's saying,
They
I
are
think
nice.
Omega's real weakness as a Globe Master owner is their Constellation line. If that was as good as their Speedmaster Seamaster lines, Omega would be pretty hard brand to beat. Speedmaster is a better chronograph watch than Daytona. Other models, I would side with Rolex.
Yeah, I agree with Bobby there. I think the Daytona is hideous, but Speedmaster is just gorgeous.
Scott's saying, I disagree. Daytonas wear better than a Speedmaster.
They do wear better.
Yeah, they do wear
Yeah.
better. They do. Wear
Romy saying how Omega let the Constellation line go to hell is unbelievable. Ian Fleming's Bond wore the Explorer. Costume designer selected it, and Al fitting NATO strapped Submariner. Yes, back in the day, but now it just seems like now Omega owns Bond. When it comes to the watch point of view. Well, guys, we made it, man. We totally made it. Sanjay with the MVP tonight, man. That
half hour.
Awesome.
It would have gone anyway. I'm telling you guys, we always have an hour's worth of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. That's true. Hey guys, anything coming up this week that we should be looking out for? Clayton
released a podcast yesterday. Had Kentucky Man on.
Oh yeah.
He's from Kentucky. It's a Kentucky Derby day, so we did our triple crown of divers dress watches and complications. Nice. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. He was a great first time on, and it was great to have on. He's a super cool guy.
Yeah, looking to hear that one. How about you, Sanjay?
I hope to review the Chapek Antarctique, Marcus's Chapek. Hopefully either end of this week or beginning of next week. But I will be filming it this week. So.
Man, Marcus has provided you with some content for weeks and months.
You're
That's
a
awesome.
baller channel.
I can't believe he let me have the Chapek. I didn't even ask for it.
Just got that watch, right?
Yeah, you just got it.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love those Exter wallets. I need a new wallet, so I'm definitely going to look into those that you featured in your Grand Seiko video. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I'm super honored that they actually sponsored me. That's really kind.
Well, you're the man. So
yeah, of course they'd be silly not to.
They realize how infinitely valuable you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we need that guy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, chat. Catch Clayton's podcast, link in the description below. Sanjay's channel, link in IG. Both IGs for these guys are in the links in the description below. Chat, thanks again for hanging in there with us. You guys are great. And Clayton, Sanjay, awesome. Always great time doing this. Can't wait to do it next Sunday. And have a good night, all. See you then.
See you guys.
Take care.